the flight. All right, that's what the discussion is, especially as so many people are going through so many different things. There's no better time to discuss being able to overcome difficulties and be able to rise in the midst of so much chaos. So I thought it'd be a great idea to have, a great guest, someone who has been working on Fight the Flight quite often and regularly. And so that's what brings us here right now. So that's it. That's all. So I hope you all do enjoy this particular Mental Flight School live episode. And we're going to get started in a little bit. Feel free. Thank you so very much. Go ahead. Thank you, Brittany. Glad you love the topic. Andres, how you doing?
Thank you.
Andres, give me your waves. Make sure you can hear us loud and clear. That's always good. Those of y'all who might be watching this on Facebook, YouTube, or one of my private groups, welcome. Glad you're here. Generally, when it's the daytime, I say, I hope the sun is shining wherever you are. If it's not shining on the outside, I hope that it's shining on the inside. Today is no different, except it's nighttime where we are right now. So it's going to be shining on the inside. For what's happening, I recognize the person with you, Stan. You do. We were in a group a couple weeks ago. You guys were in a virtual masterclass with people. See everyone.
It connects. It's a puzzle.
Yes, we're in here. Dope. So let's get things kicked off. Thank you all so very much for being here for this Mental Flight School podcast episode. And ultimately, my name is Stan Pearson II, celebrity mindset consultant and award-winning speaker. I help people find their confidence and mindset and sexy from the inside out, from the neck up. And it's my gift, I guess, and my journey to make sure I'm bringing the right people to other right people to connect the dots so we can all rise above so much noise that's happening from time to time in Earth, right? Or on Earth, or in our homes, or certainly in our minds. And today I have a super dope guest. I have motivational speaker and renowned person, Erin Brown. How you doing, Erin?
I'm awesome.
Okay, yeah, clap it up, stomp your feet wherever you are, people. Lean in. Yeah.
Fired up.
That's great, man. Erin, so tell us a little bit about you, Erin. Like, if someone said, so what do you do? You're a motivational speaker. What do you do? What would you tell them in the sentence that you do?
In a sentence, I help people become resilient in scary and uncomfortable situations.
Wow. Say that one more time for the people in the virtual back. Say that one more time.
I help people become resilient in scary and uncomfortable situations.
Whoa. Erin helps people become resilient and comfortable. And what was the other piece?
Scary situations.
There's no better time than to discuss that right now. Now, why do you think that's important? Why do you think resilience in scary and uncomfortable situations is important, Erin?
Oh, because when you think about resilience, right, you think about a lot of the things that inspire people and give people the go. Right now, we're all scared. We're in a new norm that just threw everybody for a curve. It's a left field. Resilience in this matter, that's tapped into the root of why we're doing what we're doing. When we're scared, we're in tough and scary situations, uncomfortable. The first thing we want to do is run. That taps into that fight or flight response. Mm. And then you tap into that fight the flight response.
I love it. So tell me more about that. Tell me about fight the flight. For someone who's saying fight the flight for the first time, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to fight the flight?
So what fight the flight means to me is to figure out what it is that you're scared of, what's making you uncomfortable, break it down into 3 pieces, and overcome it so you can go on to that next level. Fear is not real. Of course, there's scary situations, and absolutely fear can save us. But at the same time, are we going to really use that fear as a crutch or as a step up? So that step up, that fight the flight, that's what that is. That's what that is for me. That step up, that step above.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. It's interesting because what most people don't understand, to fear something, right? It's the body's natural tendency to keep one safe.
Facts.
And that's all relative. It's like safety is relative, comfort is relative, and it's tough for people to, let's say, rise or fight the flight because of what they've become comfortable with. And so it seems, especially based on your point, like sometimes people can be confused, like, oh no, I'm comfortable, so that means I shouldn't stretch myself. And that comfort could actually be what's keeping them from being a better version of themselves. Is that similar to that kind of what you're alluding to?
Absolutely. That comfort zone is hindering your growth.
Wow. So what if sometimes I go in these moments where I'm thinking about the younger me, right? It's not always, but sometimes. And I often wonder what a conversation would be, talking to a younger version of me, if you will. So what would you tell a younger Erin Brown? What advice would you give a younger Erin Brown?
Keep going. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and that sounds very, very cliche, right? Sounds mediocre, whatever. But the truth in those words put together in that sentence, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Younger Erin was in a very, very dark place. Very, very dark place. And younger Erin didn't necessarily ever think that she was ever going to get out of that dark place. So the one thing I would definitely tell myself is that there's light at the end of the tunnel. You have to keep going. Don't stop for anything or anybody. Give yourself a break, but keep at it.
If I could dig a little bit deeper, when you say, to keep going, what kept you going? I feel like there's some people who may be listening or watching right now that want to stop, that want to quit. What are a couple things that you can recall doing or trying to do that kept you going when you wanted to quit?
Absolutely. So about 4 years ago, I was in a situation where I didn't want to keep going. And at this point, I figured out my purpose, my ultimate why, and why I was still here on this earth. And that was to share this message and my story with any and everyone who wanted to hear it. So that right there, understanding your why, your purpose, the reason that you walk this earth, that was a changing factor in me knowing that I had a purpose and a reason here.
Awesome. So in addition to that, Erin, what are some things that you do present day to help you continue to fight the flight, to rise above the noise, to be a better version? Like, what do you do daily? Like, I know there's some folks who are like, hell, I need some tips. Like, help me out, Erin. Help me out. What are some tips?
So one thing that I do every single day is on my drive to work, I listen to motivational content, except on Fridays. On Fridays, I can turn Panda on and get a little jiggy with it.
Okay. Oh, really quick. Sidebar. What do you get jiggy to? What are your guilty pleasures of getting jiggy?
My guilty pleasure for the past, I don't know how many years, has been Thunder by Imagine Dragons. That second verse, if you ever get a chance, or if you haven't, do it. Sit down and listen to that second verse.
Thunder, Imagine Dragons. If you've ever heard that song before, feel free to comment or leave it in the review section if you like the song. If you like Thunder by Imagine Dragons, I'm checking it out when we get out of here. That is
Absolutely.
good. So everyday motivational content, and then Thunder and Magic Dragon, except on Friday. Friday, you have to let yourself go every once in a while. I love it.
A little bit.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Cool. Are there any go-tos, let's say, when it comes to folks that inspire you? Like, you have like a couple people that are like, yo, this person, they are crushing it. This person, because what I'm finding, like, I'm watching The Last Dance right now with Michael Jordan and talking about the Bulls. And it, like, his drive, right, makes me think not just about him, but other people that go hard because folks can't hear me. Sorry. About folks that go hard, that folks that really push themselves. And it makes me think, man, who else out there should I be following or paying attention to that pushes themselves? So anyway, are there any folks out there that you see, you're like, that right there, if I grind like that, that's me. That's me.
So, no paid. Everybody in here knows who Stan is. You know it was coming. How long? It's been, what, 2016, 17 maybe?
Yeah.
I've been watching you. And when I sent you a message this morning, I said I keep my ears to the pavement to hear y'all drop keys. I promise. I probably wouldn't be in this seat right here, right now, if it weren't for you and that interaction that we were able to have at that conference those several years ago. So I'm watching you and I'm on your heels.
Thank you. You know, nothing helps people push themselves than knowing other folks are on their heels. I'm honored that you would say that, and I appreciate you saying that too. It means a lot. So thank you. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so very much. Sorry. Cool. So any other jewels you want to drop on folks that might be listening or that might want to know more about Fight the Flight and how they, like, what are you working on now? How can someone support you, learn more about you? What can they do?
Oh, absolutely. So you can follow me across all social media platforms at EB Speaks. I'm currently working on my second book. My first book is not even out yet, and I'm working on my second book. The first book is called The Value Method.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like
the
that.
Value Method. It's a small pocket guide to help you find your rhythm.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Dope, y'all.
Absolutely.
You know, Erin, thank you so very much for spending this time with me right now and us right now. And I really appreciate you, again, continuing to fight the flight. What we do know is it's not always easy to do, but it's absolutely necessary to do.
And doable. And doable.
And
if you believe it.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Thank you. I appreciate that. Big time. Big time.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you don't mind, before we get out of here, like, what's difficult right now? Is there anything that's difficult right now that you're pushing through or grinding through?
Right now, what's difficult is juggling my 9 to 5 and my dream, my goal, my mission, my vision. That balance it's a dance. And at one point, I had that dance down and I lost my job. So I did EB Speaks 110% every single day from 9 o'clock in the morning to about 6 o'clock at night, maybe 7. I got a new job to fund my dream, right? So now I have to figure out how to get back into sync with balancing this juggling between being married, being a speaker, working a 9-to-5, writing books, having a social life, so that's, I'm getting the swing of that.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that. Folks, appreciate transparency, because the truth is, everyone is trying to figure this thing out, want to do things the right way, but there's always, it's the road, isn't often paved, especially for someone, who is, finding their own way, creating their own stuff. And what you'll find is there's some construction, got to pave some streets. There's a lot of balancing. You got to find equipment to pave the streets, because streets don't pave themselves.
Exactly.
But you'll find, and I guess as you're discovering that there's, a bit of satisfaction and a building of confidence and courage that happens when you begin to develop your own. You begin to craft your own. And then you get to know yourself a little bit better too, in the midst of chaos, right? In the midst of all that is crazy. Sometimes, and I see this in you as you kind of begin to see things, and folks think I'm crazy when I initially say this, but it's like if you've ever seen The Matrix before. Now, for you young whippersnappers out there, I don't know what's going on. Okay, cool. For you young whippersnappers out there, you may have not seen The Matrix before, but The Matrix is a point where you take the green pill, the blue pill, whatever kind of pill you have to take. You take whichever pill, and then there's a point in The Matrix where Neo gets it. He understands that he's the one. It didn't make anything else easier. He just understood that he was the one and that he had the tools to get what was his. And I feel like, that's exactly where you are at this point, and where others will find themselves as well. So that's super cool. And, there's someone that says in the comment section over here in my eyes, it says, someone who has read the hard copy of The Value Method and so recommends it.
Ooh, I don't know who that was, but thank you.
You know what I'm saying? The Value Method. I actually love that title, by the way.
Don't take it.
Okay, I won't. I love that title. It's a brilliant title. That's a brilliant title, for real.
Short, to the point.
Short, sweet, to the point, that tells people what they're getting.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, that's it. And I really hope that you all enjoyed, this episode of Mental Flight School, and enjoyed, I guess, Erin Brown. Make sure that you all follow her on social media, wherever you are, and connect with her whenever you can. All right, that is what we need to do. Any final words for folks that might be watching or listening, wherever they're getting this from?
Wherever you're getting this from, don't give up. That's all I'll say. Don't give up wherever you are in life. Keep going.
Cool, that's dope. And stick around with me one more second. Appreciate you all so very much for being here. I know those of y'all who are watching via Facebook or YouTube, it's been an absolute pleasure. Continue to remember that you are the best version of you 24/7, 365, and 1/4 days a year, and that effort on fire beats knowledge on ice. To you all, I bid you a great good night, and understand that you are far better than you think you are. Peace.